So when it comes to managing your desires, it's important that we distinguish those desires that we need to express and those desires that are not necessary. The basis of all desires is a feeling of satisfaction, that when I get the object of desire, I'll be happy. Do I need to go through that desire, or can I live my life without going through it and achieve the same degree of satisfaction? The difficult task is to distinguish. Now, when we use the word need, what are we talking about? We're talking about aspects of human experience that must be present in order for our well-being, for our flourishing, for our growth, for our proper functioning. Okay, your car needs oil. If it doesn't have oil, it can't function properly. A plant needs nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, otherwise it doesn't grow, it doesn't fruit. In a similar way, there'll be things that you need, and if you don't have them, you don't flourish, you don't function as a fully formed human being. Now for you, it might be marriage and family is one of those needs. And so it's your obligation to make sure that you go through that experience. For another person, they may have some desire towards it, but they analyze it and realize, this is really just caught up with wanting to be part of my community. Everyone's doing it, but I feel I can live without it. The main driver for me was just going with the herd. Another person then can do without that experience. For them, it's not a need. So when it comes to the theory of reincarnation, what it's saying is that if you have a strong desire for that, you'll be born into an environment in which marriage and family is much more likely. And if you look at different cultures around the world, it is more difficult than others to say, no thank you, I'm not going to be married and I'm not going to have a family. Marriage and family is strongly promoted. You're more likely to go along that path, which suits your desire beautifully because that's one that you have. If you have a strong desire to be married without children or to be single and not have kids, then the tendency will be to be born into an environment where that is easier. So the environment that you're born into is conducive for those desires. And this is exactly what we were touching on earlier on. Be careful of the desires and the thoughts that you're entertaining, because you may be creating desires you didn't previously have. Scrutinize your thoughts. Okay, so I want to get to one of the questions that came through. I have to skip through this part and get to one of the questions that came through. Okay, so one of the other questions that came through was, please elaborate on what happens to the soul when it leaves the body. How long does it wander, and what is the period it takes to the next journey? Short answer is, we don't know. Just like we don't know anything really about the post-death experience. But once again, the idea is to look at what nature has shown us, and can we extrapolate from that? So what the question is talking about is what's known in some traditions as the bardo. What is the bardo? It's an intermediate, transitional or liminal state between death and rebirth. So does it exist? And if it does exist, how long does it exist? Again, we don't know. But look at nature. When a seed falls from its plant and lands in the ground, you don't immediately get a plant coming out of it. Different seeds take different lengths of time before they begin to germinate. Drop an apple seed into damp soil and observe it. How long does it take before it begins to sprout? Drop an avocado stone into the ground, and how long does that take? Much longer. So a fetus grows in the womb for 9 months before it is born out into this environment. In a similar way, when the gross body falls away and the causal body, as it were, moves to a new embodiment, it makes sense that there is a period of time before that expresses as the next embodiment. And so again, there's a quote here from Vedanta Treatise. He says, "So too, a human may experience a period of sleep or dream before his next incarnation." So when we know, or rather, when we look at the waking, dream, and deep sleep states, when our gross body, our physical body, dissolves away at the end of the day, we find ourselves in a state of dream or deep sleep. In a similar way, when the physical body dissolves away from us at the point of death, what do we experience? Well, it's not out of the realms of possibility to suggest that there's also a period of sleep or dream. How long does it last? The problem here, of course, is that we've got two incompatible timescales. In your dream, you got in your car and you drove 100 kilometers, you got out, then you had a swim, got to the other side of the river, etc. How long did all this take? Well, this was a full day. How long was the dream when you wake up? Oh, it's 2 in the morning. I went to sleep at 10. Only 4 hours has passed and I've had a full day's worth of experience. So our time scales don't match. So we can't really ask that question of how long it lasts. It lasts as long as it needs to, so that nature can take its course. To the unborn fetus, how long is that experience? Is it going to feel like 9 months? It won't feel like anything. It won't be measurable, not in terms of the time that we have out here. So interesting, of course, is what's that experience like? So one interesting question, of course, is what is that experience like? Well, what are your dreams like? What determines the quality and the nature of your dreams that you have? Well, it's the quality and the nature of the waking experiences that you have. There's a beautiful lecture delivered by Swami Ramatirtha in which he reconciles all of the religious ideas around post-death. In the same way that the dream that you have tonight will be according to the waking experiences that you had, the post-death dream, the bardo that you experience, will be according to your lifetime's experiences. And so in this discussion he says, so the Christian who has spent his life worshipping and having a relationship with Christ, when he wakes up into his bardo, who does he see in front of him? None other than Jesus Christ himself. For someone in another religion who has a different prophet or a different saint or a different God, who do they see? They see their religious icon. So again, if we're going to experience this post-death dream, what kind of dream do you want? What kind of dream would you like? Well, figure that out. And now ask the question, what sort of experiences in my life do I want to express so that that post-death experience is the way I want it to be? I want comfort, I want safety, I want security, peace, love, compassion, mercy. Well then, what should today be like? Peace, love, compassion, mercy. Not give me peace, love, compassion and mercy. Let me give it out. There's a beautiful quote in the play The Merchant of Venice. And Portia, disguised as the advocate, says to Shylock, we do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. What's she saying? Every single one of us, when we are faced with the authority of someone's judgment, we all pray for mercy for our wrongdoings, every single one of us. Because we all demand mercy, or because we all would like it, that makes it our obligation to give it to others. What you want, express it. Don't try to take it from your environment, put it into your environment. Give to others what you want for yourself. Then it comes back. It comes back today in the present moment, and it comes back in the future, whatever that future looks like. Please. It's not so much that the desires enter another body. I mean, that's the phrasing that we use. But think of it more in terms of the desires determine another body. The desire itself weaves the particular body around itself to satisfy the desires that are there. As to which embodiment the previous subtle body went into, again, it's the same answer. We don't know. And of course, you've probably seen in some traditions there is the idea that you can find a previous incarnation by looking for certain signs. How useful is that? What's the benefit of that? Who benefits and how and why? What does it do for your growth and your progress through this life to go digging for lives from the past? Is it an expression of ego? Or is it something that you need in order to move forward? And something to decide for yourself. But the short answer there is that, again, it's one of these speculations. It's so far into the realm of speculation already. We've got to remember that we're already deep in the territory of I don't know. And every question we ask beyond where we currently are takes us another step deeper into I don't know. So which body do the desires go into? We don't know. And if you could know, there's my dear departed mother. You walk up to a teenage boy, and say, Mum, come. He'll look at you and quickly, shuffle away. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so the theory of reincarnation obviously points in that direction. Mm. Okay, any other questions or clarifications? Yeah. Please, I'm happy to stay. It's early morning for me, so I can be here all day. Yeah. The wisdom of what? Yep. Wisdom means, oh, rather put it this way. With your wisdom, you make choices that take you towards greater well-being and growth. So to the extent that the choices you naturally make are in that direction, to that extent you have wisdom. So let's stay with the example we've touched on. One of your children, one of your teenagers, is rebelling and pushing back with your rules. Now, if your action thereafter, as a response to that, exacerbates the situation, it makes it worse, then that shows that you're acting out of ignorance. If your action improves it, it improves your sense of well-being and mental peace, it improves the relationship, and it takes your child towards growth and well-being, then you've acted out of wisdom. Now, what did it look like? Well, it depends entirely upon the situation. That's the key when it comes to wisdom. Wisdom doesn't have a particular action associated with it. Wisdom is the right thing at the right time, based on your insight. How do you quantify it? The more wise you are, the more you live well. The more you find that you are flourishing in your well-being, and the more you find that you are moving towards greater growth. Okay, thanks folks. If there's no other questions, if you do have any other questions that arose from today, then please feel free to email them through to me. I can take them up in the weekly Q&A that I do, which is out of your time zone, but for the Q&A I upload them to YouTube. So I can answer the question, record the Q&A, and then post it to YouTube, and I'll let you know when it's up. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to email them through. For next Sunday, what's today? Today is the 18th, so that'll be the 25th. So that's Christmas Day, so we won't have one on the 18th. But for our next Sunday session, we don't have a topic yet set. If people would like to suggest something that they want to discuss, please feel free again to email through, and I can take up any topic that people want. Yeah. I tell you what, I'll share you the link right now. I'll just put it into the chat box. Okay, so that link there takes you to the Vedanta Institute Los Angeles website, YouTube channel. And on there, you'll see, if you go to playlists, in fact, let me share my screen. Well, you should be able to copy and paste it from that meeting chat. You should be able to right mouse click on that and select it, copy, paste. So if you like drag and select the text, you should be able to copy it. But another thing is that if you are a subscriber to the newsletter, every week when I send it out, there's a link to this on there as well. Yeah, I don't know why. There's something with your email that it doesn't get it, and I've tried. I'll send you another email to give you some advice, but I don't know what else you can do. So yeah, I've done it a few times, but I think you just have to accept that it's not working. Okay, so if you go to the home, then you've got videos, shorts, live, and playlists. Go to playlists. There's one that is Q&A, and so you'll see that in there in the Q&A. There's a whole series of questions that have come through, and so I'll just post it onto there. So yeah, please feel free to email any questions through and we can take them up. And of course, as I said, any suggestions for topics, please feel free to send them through and we can decide. So as I said, no class next Sunday. It's Christmas for most of you and 26th for me. So I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great week. Enjoy your time with families. Yes, class on Tuesday for Gita is there. Okay, thanks folks.